In this lesson, we're going to review the text to columns function. Text to columns function is a function that you want to use if you have a large pool of data in a data set or table, and it contains a mix of attributes of data, and you want to split that data so that you only contain certain relevant information in each column. So let's say you've got, an export of first name, last name, phone numbers, address information in one column in one column in Excel, and you've got that repeated for a number of different employees. Let's say there are 100 employees. There's a way in Excel to actually split up that data into different columns so that it's not all commingled in one cell. So as noted here, the text to columns function is used to split cell contents into multiple columns depending on the criteria set. And let's take a look at an example. So let's assume an HR analyst received data exported from the company's HR database containing employee name and phone number in the same cell. The HR analyst needs to make a list of the employee name in a separate column from their phone number, and they want to use the text to columns function to be able to do that. Obviously, there's a number of ways you could do it other than using the text to columns function, but the text to columns function built into Excel makes it really easy so that you don't need to do it manually or apply formula to separate the data attributes from the cells. So let's take a look at the steps in order to apply the text to columns function. So the steps to achieve this are below. First, you need to highlight the data in the table. Then you need to click the Data tab. Then click Text to Columns. And then when you click the Text to Columns button in the top ribbon, it'll come up with a text to column wizard with a series of a few steps. And it'll ask you what data you want to separate. And so in our case, we want to separate the name and phone number. So we've got a couple of options here. We can choose delimited or fixed width. If you know where you want to separate the data, then you can use fixed width. In our case, it varies because the first and last name are going to be dissimilar between individuals. Their phone number is going to be consistent, but the first and last name, the length of that's going to vary. So we're going to use delimited in this case. And when we use delimited, the next set of the wizard that appears really asks you how you want to separate the values. Now, if you look at the data that we have in our example, there's a common theme of what is separating the first and last name and the phone number. And that's something that you really want to pay attention to in your data set. In our case, it's a colon. As you can see here, Mark Henry, Jeff Henry, Alex Jacob, and Natalie Campbell each have a colon after their name. So that makes it really easy for us to separate the data. So in the second step of the text to column wizard, it's asking us how do we want to separate the data. Well, we're going to click other, and then we're going to put the colon in the box there. It shows us a data preview. We can click next and finish. And as you can see on the screen here, this is what the data looked like before for the stacked records, and after we ran the wizard, this is what it looks like. So we've got clean data separated into two different columns. We set it up so that the employee phone number would populate in one column, the staff name would populate another. I'm just going to show you how to reproduce this. So let's say I wanted to highlight this data here and then go to text to columns. I'm going to choose delimited, click next, and obviously there's a number of ways I could separate the data. If I wanted to separate it with a space, that's one way. If I were to do that, then it would actually separate their first and last name and then the phone number, because there is a space between the first and last name and the phone number. But in this case, I just want to separate their full name and the phone number. So in the other tab, I'm going to put in a colon. As you can see here, the preview appears. Again, if I were to put in a space, look what happens. It would actually separate their first name, their last name, and the phone number. I could actually put in a dash as well and separate the area code and the first 3 digits and the last 4 digits of the phone number, but I don't want to do that for this case. I just want to separate it by their name and their phone number. Then I'm going to click Next. I can see the preview here of the solution. I'm going to click Finish. And then what it says here is that there's already data that's contained in the cell to the right. And it's asking me if I want to replace it. And so in this case, yes, I do want to replace it. I want the data for the phone number to appear here in the employee phone number tab or column. I click OK, and then I've got everything I need. I've got the staff record of the full name, and I've got the employee's phone number to the right of that. Hey guys, thanks for watching this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe from you. And if you want to learn more about Microsoft Excel, check out these videos above. And don't forget to check out our website, commercecurve.com, where we have lots of in-depth finance and accounting courses available with full training workbooks. All of our courses come with complete workbooks of lessons, examples, pre-built financial models, and training video. Hope to see you there.